Hi, I'm Patricia Allingham Carlson. In this video series, we are drawing the human face. For video 3, we are looking at adding shadows and increasing realism. We're looking at a picture of a child, drawing her hair, adding more shading, and I'd like to encourage you to keep practicing and looking at pictures of real people that you would like to draw. Have fun with the hairstyles, have fun with the fashion add-ons, but most of all, just keep practicing and having fun. Now let's draw. Here we are on lesson 3, drawing the human face. Learned a lot of stuff so far. We're just going to start out with a sort of an egg-shaped head, which means it's wider at the top and a little narrower at the chin. Some people do not have this shape, but you got to look at the person you're drawing because everybody is totally different. When you're doing a picture or a drawing of an adult, say that their eyes are about halfway down their face. If you're drawing a child or even younger, a baby, their eyes appear to be even lower than the halfway down point. People's faces change as they grow and mature. But the eyes for a child are generally a little lower than halfway down the head. This is that center line. It gives you a good idea about how to get your features lined up so your nose isn't off to the side of your face. And here's where the eyes will be located. And if you remember, eyes are about one eye apart. The nose will come into this area. The mouth will come into this area. I have a photograph of a child here just as something to refer to see if I can get it looking like a child. It's sometimes very helpful to me to copy. I'm going to start out with the eyes like I usually do. And it just so happens I really like to draw eyes. I think that they are the most interesting part of the face. Everyone's different, but that's my opinion. And I'm drawing that fish-shaped eye. I'm going to measure one eye apart because that's generally what a lot of people have, is one eye apart for the distance between their eyes. And again, I say, if you don't get them exactly perfectly the same size or shape, it's not a big deal. You're going for basically the same and doing the best you can. Get the eyebrow on. And the eyebrow is the guide that helps with where to put the nose. The nose goes in between the eyes, a lot or a little, depending on the person's face. The nose comes outward at the bottom, a lot or a little, depending on the person you are drawing. The nostril holes tuck into these two C's. I call them C's because they're sort of shaped like the letter C. And the nostril holes tuck into that area. And then the bottom of the nose goes below. We have this dent here that I've talked about appearing on the top area of your palette that sort of defines where your lip can fall. Once you get the irises in, you can find how wide the eye is. Because generally, if you drop a line down from the iris to each corner of the mouth, that is where your mouth is going to fall. Sometimes a little thinner or wider, sometimes a little wider. It's all in the differences in our faces. Putting in the pupil. Putting in the lid line where your eyelids can close and open over your eye. Once you have your person started to this point, that's when you can add things like hair and shadows, shading, styles, clothing, whatever you want to add. But this is a basic child's face. Her hairline will start right about here. In this case, her hairline comes down as bangs. Up at this point, the hair starts to curve around the head. And the reason it looks like it's curving around the head is because your head is curved. Your head is not flat. So your hair will sort of curve around it. And you could follow the lines and look at them, and you'll see just what I'm talking about. If a person has some curly hair, it might come down in some waves like that. It depends on the person's style. Next, I'm going to erase those guiding lines. Because I don't need them anymore. And then depending on how much time I want to spend and take, I can make this a much more completed drawing. And I'm going to start doing that by using the side of my pencil and doing some more shadows. I'm going to start with the nose. I'm going to shadow in the bridge of the nose, the area between the eyes and the sides. I'm going to shadow around the C of the nose and around the bulb of the nose, which is that sort of circly area that sticks out the most at the bottom of a person's nose. I'm going to shadow under the nose, where the nose curves back into the face again. I'm going to shadow the dents, and then I'm going to rub them out with my finger. This is hard to do if you're young and your hands aren't real big and strong. The more you practice, though, the better you'll get with being able to blend and shadow. I'm going to color in a darker line between the lips because that's where your mouth opens and it is darker. And I'm going to color in the top lip, making it a little darker than the bottom lip because the bottom lip sticks out more and catches more light, whereas the top lip curves inward into your mouth. And then I'm going to rub each of those. I'm going to color in the eye. And the line above it, which I call the lash line. And I'm going to add some eyelashes. Last, I'm going to rub these lines around the eyes to make them more shadowy too. Now I look at the sides of the face looking like lines. I see that the ears are hidden in my picture, but I also see the sides of the face are darker. And that's because they curve inward toward the sides of the head. When things curve inward, we can show that by adding a shading line. And if I put that line in like that, and then give it a little rub, then the person's face starts to look more like a rounded face instead of a flat line drawing. I'm going to shade around the chin a little bit too, and under the lip, because your lip sticks out, so underneath of it could have a shadow. And I'm going to rub that shadow. That's a little too much, so I'm going to take some off with my eraser. So this child also has some dark shadows next to her face, and her hair is dark. So I could take the side of my pencil and color in those dark shadows next to the face. And oh, here's her neck, and her hair is going down along her neck. There's her neck on this side. And look at this dark shadow which curves around her hair. So I'm going to curve it right along with her hair that curves around in its curls. Not really curls, more wavy. I'm going to add this shadow on her neck because her chin is making a heavy shadow there. And then I'm going to find the dark areas of her hair and go ahead and color them in darker. Again, I'm using the side of my pencil still. This seems to work better for me for getting some stronger color from the pencil onto the paper. Whoops, there's some sort of mess. And as you notice, I am curving the pencil lines as I color them in because our hair in some case curves. And I know it curves up around the head because our heads are rounded. They aren't flat. Now, if I colored her hair in all dark, it wouldn't show. So I'm leaving some lighter areas to show where the hair goes. And I'm pretty close to being done at this point. The more you work at something like this, the better it starts to look. I hope you enjoyed the lesson, and I'll see you at next art class. I hope you enjoyed this video and learned something from it. Please give it a like and a thumbs up and subscribe in the links below so you don't miss any lessons coming up. There are also links to the places where I buy my supplies from, including most of my scholastic supplies from blick.com. More links lead to my Facebook page and my blog on art and life. I'll see you next video.